This is the final lesson in your case study on the River Tees. You're going to be evaluating the actual management, the flood management that takes place along the river. So the objectives are to understand how it's managed and then to evaluate the success of that management, and that will finish up with an exam question where you come to a view and opinion on the management of flooding. Okay, so the first task is to look at the different types of engineering and actually sort of add some comments and highlight the key information. So it's a bit of a reading task. So up way out west in the basin, upstream, the highest upstream sort of bit of management is Cow Green Reservoir. That was built in 1970 to provide water supply, but it is a regulating reservoir, which means it holds water back in when it rains a lot, and that can regulate the flow of water within the river. Okay, so you can manage flooding from that. You can see some images of that there. It was a large reservoir, and you can see the dam that holds that back on both of those images there. Big wall of concrete and steel. Yarm's the next sort of major one I want you to look at. So since the 1995 flood event, new flood defences were put in at the cost of £2.1 million. They've got soft engineering things like flood warning systems, which link with the Met Office and police and other emergency services. Okay. And they've limited new development on low-lying and flood-prone land. So there's a school in Yarm that would like to expand onto part of the floodplain. It's not been allowed to. In Yarm, the Environment Agency have also put in reinforced concrete walls with metal floodgates. There's earthen embankments, and there's cages of stones called gabions to protect those walls and embankments from erosion. Okay. On top of that, they put fishing platforms, street lighting and replanting to try and improve the environment. You can see some of the flood walls. Okay, this area here, you've had meanders cut off, so that's the river straightening, and that was to improve navigation in the river. That was way back in 1810, so you can have a look at that as well. There's the Tees Barrage down near Stockton. That's another type of wall like this, maybe a little bit more attractive. You can see it there, and that there is designed to stop the seawater coming at high tide upriver, and to maintain the level of the river upstream of that barrage. So it cuts across there. There's an international quality water sports centre there as well. That cost £54 million and was completed in 1995. And then the last thing that you can consider is all the dredging that goes on within the River Tees. They suck the sediment out of the river to keep it navigable. Okay, and that maintains a deep water channel. So you can have a read through all of those, highlight some key stuff, and then fill out this table. So based on that information, are there any social benefits or positives of those management? Is there any economic benefits that can go in that box? Any environmental benefits of the management that can go in there? Are there any social negatives that you could put in there? So negative things that affect people from the management. Are there any economic negatives that you could pop in this box? And environmental negatives that fit in this one. You can finish up with this question. Evaluate the management of flooding on the River Tees for 9 marks. Okay, I've popped some tips down here. So you want to split the answer up. So we're looking at evaluate. Can we split the word management up? Okay, so we can, because we've looked at positives and negatives and hard and soft engineering, and you've got all the social, economic and environmental positives and negatives of what you've just done from the previous answer. Okay, mention the specific types of engineering in there that you've seen from the place, and include some place evidence, and then can you conclude which is the management good of the two or three types, which do you think's best? Is the management any good or not? That's basically what you're evaluating. Yep. So a few sentence starters here. Flood management is. It involves different types, such as all of these can be used to prevent flooding. Have they been effective? That's like a link sentence, so you could change that and think about that. I've popped an example of flood walls from Yarm. Okay, so you could use that for that example. The however is supposed to make you think, well, are there any negatives of doing flood walls and things in Yarm? Alternative example, the Tees Barrier. That gives me another paragraph together with good point and bad point. And then finish up with your conclusion sentence. Overall, I think that ... and why. Okay, St Mary's students, I would like you to send that to me via our school email. Okay, which is there. So email that for me for marking, and I'll give you some feedback. St Mary students only. Okay, so just to finish up, why have Costa sold so little coffee in Middlesbrough? Because the locals prefer their teas. Good luck with your lesson.